Hey everybody, welcome to the Infinite Regression. Oh, look at what you stepped in. This big little grease stain on the internet. But don't worry. We've got video games here. And today, the Wheel of Fate, which you did not see spin. Hey, uh, quick thing. I have not been showing myself spinning the wheel to find out what game I'm going to play because I figure you're clicking on a video that has the name of the game in it. Uh, do you want me to spin the wheel? Like, I don't know if you guys feel like you're missing out by not watching me see what game I'm going to play. I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way at all. I could be completely out my dang mind. Anyway, let me know. I'm not that guy who's like, hey, comment for me to make the monies. What is your favorite way to comment and support me financially? Like, nah, I get no monies from this, none whatsoever. So like, me asking for a comment is like, I genuinely just want to know. You don't have to ring that subscribe or like that bell or, tell me down below what's your favorite gun. Like, nope. Nope. I'm not playing that game. Anyway, regardless, let's get into it. Today we're talking about a game called Shotgun Legend. And you know how sometimes certain video games can be really convoluted and trying to explain what they're like is difficult. What is Shotgun Legend? Shotgun Legend is very simple. It's Legend of Zelda for the NES with a shotgun. Bing, bang, boom. That's what it is. You know, it's not some convoluted, like, well, the developer never gave up on it, and so they made a number of changes, which actually, your experience having played it and having been angry about having spent money on it, maybe you should go back in and, the number of times that I've had that conversation about No Man's Sky. Oh boy. But Shotgun Legend, it's easy. It's like, hey, do you like Legend of Zelda for the NES? Yes? Okay. Do you think that you would like to play a version of that where you have a shotgun? Yes? Okay. Well, that exists and you're welcome. Like, there you go. That is what it is. Anyway, Shotgun Legend is a game that I own on Steam here, and it was made by Jonathan Tyndall or Tyndall. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to say Tyndall. Anyway, published by Wastebasket Games, which I don't know for sure, but I have a sinking suspicion is just Jonathan Tyndall in disguise, because they are the makers of such games as Shotgun Legend, and of course, who can forget Shotgun Legend? So I'm guessing that this is just one man's baby, like one man's personal pet project, and what a project it is, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the thing: understand what this is and where it's coming from. Okay, so for years now, for so long, for as long as the internet has been a thing, there have been ROM hacks of NES games, like dating back to for freaking ever. And people do tend to ROM hack the more popular games, so that means you get a lot of Super Mario Bros, a lot of Super Mario Bros 3s, um, a lot of Metroids, and yes, a lot of Legends of Zelda. And here's the thing about that is that most of your ROM hacks, they just do, changes to sprites or something. Like very rarely, changes to sprites and palettes and, general enemies and whatnot, like changes like that. That you're still playing the same game. It just looks different. It's been reskinned. And like that reskinning accounts for, I don't know, like 99.99% of all ROM hacks, right? especially in the early ROM hacking world, and occasionally you'd find ones that were like truly, truly unique. And yeah, that were, its own game where they've gone in and redesigned levels and redesigned, like if you're doing Legend of Zelda, you're talking about redesigning weapons and redesigning sidearm type, accessory items, and redesigning uh, dungeons and bosses and the entire story and all of that. So if you're starting over again, if you are recreating the Legend of Zelda to turn it into its own thing, which is the ultimate type of ROM hack, it is a lot of work. And it is the kind of thing where if you do it successfully, people will be amazed at you and love you. If you don't, then people will be angry. They'll be more angry than if you hadn't touched the game at all. So just, it's dangerous territory. That's, people have very strong feelings about these things. And so if you're going to do something with a Legend of Zelda, you had best come correct. And trust, there have been so many, Zelda-ish games that are very intentionally Legend of Zelda in their construction and their look and their feel and their everything about them. What's that one I was playing on the Switch? It was like Blossom Princess and the Kingdom of something. Something. It was Blossom something. I forget. You're probably yelling at me right now like, it's Blossom whatever's and the yabba doo of the hebba bebba. I don't know. My brain is not doing so great right now. So I'm just finishing out this weekend so I can go to bed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. So if you're going to make yourself a Legend of Zelda game, and it's going to be based around a gimmick like a shotgun instead of a sword, okay. Well, you got a lot of work, my friend. You got a lot of work to turn this into something that doesn't just feel like a one-trick pony, because the world is absolutely filled to the brim with ROM hacks that are like, I changed this one thing and now it's a completely different game. What do you think? And then that one thing wears super thin super quickly. So, yeah, you best come correct. And so did our friend Jonathan Tyndall come correct? Yes, he did, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he did. Here's the thing, is that the shotgun does not feel like a gimmick here. It feels natural. It feels absolutely normal. It's well designed. It works well. It's not overpowered. It's not underpowered. It's exactly what it needs to be in this world. I'm not great with it, but that does not say anything about the actual shotgun. Shotgun, well designed, good idea. Anyway, level design, really good. Not exactly the same as the original Legend of Zelda, which is a good idea. Don't make it exactly the same, because that is going to drive people bananas. And, if they're playing just the same game that's been slightly reskinned, but now they're having to pay for it, which you don't have to pay for ROM hacks. They just get posted, on a bajillion different Reddits and web boards and whatnots, and they're usually made for free download. And I've never paid for a ROM hack. I don't know how you would charge for one. It's technically not supported by the original content creator. Nintendo wouldn't put up with that. So yeah, it's the whole thing. If you're going to put it out and charge people money for it, you had better bring something to the table. And this game does, ladies and gents. unique level design, unique weapon, unique so many things, and yet so much of it feels so familiar. The skeletons, I swear to God, feel like they are directly ripped out of the original, although they're not, but like they just feel so familiar. And a lot of the other enemies that you face, you won't recognize them from their look, but you'll recognize them from their feel, their movement patterns, their attack patterns. You'll recognize them from the original Legend of Zelda game. So, yeah, a lot of that stuff, very intentional choices, obviously, but very good choices. And it's just generally a very well thought out, very good game. Here's some things to know about it. It presents itself on a slightly curved screen area that looks kind of like a CRT. That's the thing. For some people, that might bother you, and I think you can turn that off in the screen settings, but I like it. I do, like, I grew up on curved screen CRTs, so yeah, it's fine for me. Like, I immediately, like, when I first saw it, I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then after, 30 seconds of playing, I had ceased to remember that it was even curved because, of the amount of time I spent playing on screens that looked exactly like that. So yeah, that's very interesting. I will say, I wish the music was better. I do. The Legend of Zelda, granted, you are competing against some of the most iconic chiptune NES tunes ever. Like, you are up against the absolute master of the form. And my brain is blanking on his name. Just yell it at me and shame me. Tell me how dumb I am for not being able to pull a Japanese name at the last second. Anyway, and I'm still not able to pull it. I'm talking in ways that don't actually advance the dialogue whatsoever, or the monologue, because you're not talking. Well, maybe you are talking back at me, yelling Japanese names and being like, this guy's a freaking idiot. You're not wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You are not wrong, obviously. So, yeah, this game here, the music is kind of forgettable, honestly. Feel bad for saying it, but it's true. I played a lot of this game and I couldn't tell you what the music sounds like. What else do you need to know? Well, there's some things that drove me crazy, like that you have to have money to pick up. Like, when you go into the cave to the north, normally old man there hands you something and then you're off to the races. That's not what happens in this game. You eventually find a guy who's selling a thing that you have to have coins for, but by finishing the amount of dungeon that gets you to that point, you won't have enough coins for it. So you have to go back out and then grind and stuff. It's it's a little problematic. I didn't enjoy that part as much. I wish that, there was an initial item that was free that set you on your path and then you just kind of find your way. Anyway, just some nitpicky things like that. But understand this. If you're picking nits, then the game must be good. And obviously that's what it is. I could pick nits with this thing. I could point at little teeny tiny things that are not exactly like the original and then be all butthurt about it. But ultimately, it stands on its own 2 feet. Now understand this. When I'm going to put the final score on this, I tend to grade budget games differently. Oh, I may not have mentioned this. This game is 99 cents. Regular. Not on sale. Regular 99 cents. So that's remarkable and awesome. So it's worth getting just for that. Honestly, it's Zelda shotgun 99 cents. Like, sold. There you go. Anyway, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this game, I am grading it as if it were one of the big boys, as if it were made by a bigger development team, as if you know, there were more financial backing behind it and as if it cost more because it feels quality. So I do tend to grade budget games lower than I grade other. Or I give them easier full points than I do for other games. So I've been speaking this game's praises. I don't want you to be underwhelmed by the final score, but the final score isn't, like it doesn't shatter the ceiling or anything. I think it's very sensible. I'm saying 7 out of 10 errors from Zelda 2. And also, we talked ROM hacks. There's a ROM hack where you can play as Error in Zelda 2. You're welcome. Go live your awesome life. Anyway, so yeah, this game is really good. It's really, really good. And for the price that you are paying, it's quite nice. And just know that like the score would be higher if I was doing some like, oh, as a budget game, but like no, I'm grading this up against literally any other game on Steam. This is 7 out of 10 all day against the big boys. So yeah, I feel like that's putting a good, nice, sharp point on it. Anyway, ladies and gents, I need to stop talking because I've done too much of that and you've heard enough. So thank you for being here for this one. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.